The three of you guys, man, thank you for what you guys do, and appreciate you guys having me on.
We were trying not to score and everything. We got about 30-33s or something.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of felt that. We kind of feed off that energy.
This place is amazing. Like I really love Duke, and I love the atmosphere I'm in here.
Mark Williams, beast mode. Paolo first half, he had the cramping stuff. Fair enough. Beast mode.
Welcome back to the Crazy Cast. Listen, we promised you more episodes, right? We got you. Middle of the week, a long break for Duke. The long-awaited mid-season grades episodes. I'm here with my guy Russ and Ryan. What's up, fellas?
What up?
Man, it's a boring week. No Duke basketball this week until Saturday. So, we thought it was a good time to let's sit back and review the season so far. As we see here, it's the mid-season grades episode. We'll go through each player, and each, I guess, give the team a grade as a whole at the end with John Scheyer himself. But yeah, we could jump right into it. We already recapped what happened last game, so we could jump right into it. Let's start before we jump into individuals. Let's start with, I guess, the others. So we'll break down the 9 rotational players, the players you see often. That does not include Pat Ngungba, Darren Harris. So yeah, let's start. Fellas, what are you giving the others for a grade to start it off?
You go first.
I can go first. I mean, it's really hard to give somebody like Darren a grade at all because he's probably played like 25 minutes or something, 30 minutes. I also, I thought before the season, as people might remember, I thought we'd need his shooting this year. But given that Evans has completely exploded in that respect and Cooper has really come around as a shooter, even somebody like Sion has to be respected out there. So Darren's just not playing. He looks like a freshman when he's out there. He needs reps. Hopefully he can get a few more because obviously the schedule, we've got some bad opponents coming up. So it'd be nice to get to see him play a little bit more. I think he's going to be a key part of next year's squad because that squad will definitely need shooting. So again, I'd love to see him get some reps. Just an incomplete for him. Just hasn't played nearly enough. Honestly, with Pat, kind of the same. I've liked what I've seen though. I mean, it's so hard to contextualize what somebody like him has done in because he's played a couple of games of double-digit minutes now almost. I wasn't really sure he'd play at all this year, so I really like the flashes. I'm excited to see him play a larger role next year, hopefully. I looked at his KenPom player comparisons to try to contextualize how his freshman numbers look, and they were comparing him with guys like Cliff Omarui and Dylan Cardwell when they were freshmen. He's not the defender that those guys are necessarily, but also I don't remember how they were defensively as freshmen. And he's also got a little more shooting touch than those guys. So I think he's just having a typical freshman year for a guy who could become a really quality high major starting big man. And, especially given that he feels like a multi-year center kind of guy. I mean, this is the sort of dude where if we can hang on to him for all 4 years that he's here, he's got some all-conference potential, I think, by the end of his tenure. So again, really nice flashes. Hard to grade a guy on flashes though, but I'm really pleased with what I've seen from him.
Yeah, and I'll just go real quick with Pat. He hadn't played competitive basketball in 2 years since he was out.
Yeah, that too.
Not the entire senior year. So the fact that he's out there even giving productive minutes has been a good sign for me. And I'm with Russ. Going forward, it's a positive sign. It's good that he's being. It sucks that Malik Brown's been hurt, but it's been good for Pat's progression and improvement. And just like we've talked about with Darren Harris getting reps in, Pat's getting those right now due to unfortunate circumstances. So that's great. With Darren, again, same thing as Russ. So nothing to add there besides just hopefully he's here for the long haul and think that he could really be a key player on rosters going forward. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you guys pretty much hit it on the head. Don't need to elaborate too much on it. I have liked what I've seen from Pat. Definitely like him as even just an offensive prospect and even option for this team. We do want to throw the ball in the post. We've shown Scheyer has shown he has the confidence to do it with Pat. So, definitely have enjoyed watching him play. Echo all the sentiments on Darren Harris. Spencer Hubbard. Spencer Hubbard gets an A. Spencer Hubbard gets an A.
A plus. A plus.
No pluses. Remember my grading scale. There are no
Yeah,
pluses.
You don't give any pluses.
It's not
If you don't
kindergarten.
if you don't give Cooper an A plus at the end of this, I'm gonna lose my mind.
It's not kindergarten. We're not getting pluses. But yeah. Spencer Hubbard.
Zion's just mad he never got pluses when he was in school. This is trauma. This is trauma coming back here.
I got pluses, man. I got, especially on those spelling tests. I was
C
amazed.
pluses? You got some C pluses there?
Hey, chill out, man. Chill out. Let's jump into the heart of this, where we jump into the rotational players and the starters. Might I remind y'all again, we are just grading as fans. I know people get mad sometimes about these grades. We're just grading with our opinions. So do not get mad about it. But also, do not try to trash me after last season. I will continuously say it. Do not try to trash me after last season. Anyway, first guy.
We'll just trash you after this season. That's fine.
Yeah.
First guy on the list is Malik Brown. Malik Brown.
All right, Ryan, you'd go first this time.
Give us a grade.
Oh, of course. I hate having to set the standard. So we said no pluses, like outside of like we do like a D plus, C plus, B plus, or no plus.
No A pluses. No A.
Also do whatever you want.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I heard no pluses, and I'm like, well,
that's
okay.
me. That's my grading.
That's
scale.
I'll go B plus for Malik Brown. I think I want to give him an A, but like we could maybe use some more offensive production. It sucks he's been out for a little bit now, but I think he's just been a really solid B plus. He's been what we've expected him to be, and maybe was hoping for a little bit more on the scoring side. But like, sorry if you can hear my dogs for a second. But yeah, I think from the scoring side, maybe a little bit more defensively. Obviously, he's playing at an all conference level and potentially at a national level as well. So. Yeah, I'm gonna go B plus and mute my mic so you guys can keep going.
I mean, I don't think we need the offensive production from him. Honestly, I'm gonna give him an A. This is a guy who is exactly giving us what we brought him in for. Like we didn't bring him in to be an all conference, 15 point a game guy. We brought him in for exactly what he's giving us. And he is giving it. He's the best defender in the ACC, as far as I'm concerned. He's got a really good assist rate for a big man too. So he's not, some offensive liability out there. He's creating for others. He's making things happen. Again, asked to play a role. He's playing it to perfection. If he could get a couple more dunks a game, sure, that'd be great. But I can't really ask him to do much more than what he's been giving us, given the level of his defense. I'm going to give him an A.
Yeah, I'm gonna go A here. I really have no critiques really for Malik. I think what he's brought to this team defensively has made him, that alone has made him one of the better transfers we've ever seen at Duke. A lot of people will look for offensive production. Obviously he had 26 against Duke last year. But it's just a completely different team where we don't need that. And I honestly don't think in the beginning of the season we were really putting him in that position to really score. A lot of the times we'll use him as a top of the key, to facilitate and, throw the backdoor pass to Sion or, act as just, a screener. But, it was not like we're throwing the ball into the post to him to score. So I'm not really worried about the scoring. And usually he's pretty good finisher around the rim regardless. So when he's in those positions, he'll score. But yeah, no critiques from me. Malik, man. Hey, man. Next person. I don't even know who the next person is. So
I can't believe I gave him a C plus now.
Yeah, you gave B plus. That
real quick. Last year he averaged almost 10 points a game. This year he's down to 2.5. And last year he shot the ball better than he has this year. Obviously not taking a lot of outside shots and didn't last year, but his field goal percentage and for the small sample size, his 3-point percentage is plummeted as well. So I'm just gonna.
Last year his team was booty cheeks, dude.
Yeah,
I'm just stats are stats, numbers guy. All right, stats are stats. So
really
next up.
No, I don't think that's fair. He was taking 5 shots a game last year from 2, and like almost a 3 a game. This year, he's played 15 games and he's taken 25 shots. I mean, like that's way too small a sample.
I could be the
And
first one to
given-
start off and give a guy an A. I had to go B plus. So next, I'll get hate for it. Whatever. I love Malik Brown. There's no.
He already regrets it. You see, we already got a first regret. Mason Gillis is the next guy. Mason Gillis. This should be interesting. Russ, start us. Or should I? Nah, you start us off.
I'm happy to start. I'm gonna go B minus. And honestly, if it was just for conference performance, I'd give him higher. He's been really good in conference play so far. In conference play, clearly a net positive. He's making nearly 48% of his threes in the ACC games. He's crashing the offensive glass a lot harder. He's actually doing it at a higher rate than Malik, which is really cool. Great for us, obviously. And he's playing good, tough defense. He just really struggled at the beginning of the season. His shot wasn't falling. I think he was still getting used to, what John runs. So just wasn't really a net positive at the beginning of the year. Net positive in ACC play. I'm really excited for what he's going to continue to bring to the table going forward, especially during Malik's absence. Really glad we have him, but given the struggles at the beginning of the year, I'm gonna give him a B minus.
Ryan, what you got?
Yeah, I'll go B. I think to kind of go off of what Russ said, it's more so has to do with the start that he had of the season, where I feel like in some of the bigger games he could have made a bigger difference, but obviously stepped up a lot in conference play. And I think another part of it is the leadership. Like you can see, like if you see the guys interacting, obviously stuff is surface level for us who are not behind the scenes, but what you see in the official Duke videos that they put out on social media and stuff, they're definitely looking at this guy as a leader. And I think he's doing that. And that was something that we brought him in for as well. So I don't think that's something that should be just glossed over as the leadership aspect. So you touched on the stats and how well he's playing. And I think the leadership aspect that he's brought to this team, and now with the confidence that he has shooting the ball and, like you said, crashing the boards and just doing all the small stuff that a glue guy like him should be doing, been a B and would be probably a B plus or around an A minus if it was just conference play. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think I'll go B. I'll go B. I'll go B for the fact he's been very, I think, impactful. Like Russ said, in this ACC stretch, I think he's finally finding his footing. I think early in the season there was some rough stretches, especially missing the open shots. Coming in with the high profile as a shooter he is. I think we definitely held that against him, but I think he's settled in. He's settled into his role. We've seen his versatility, and he's playing the 5 now points. Scheyer even said that he will continuously play the 5 even when Malik returns. So he gives Duke more versatility in that, right? And he's shown his toughness of late. So he struggled in the early beginnings, but I don't want to put too much pressure on him because he's still expected to be a 7th or 8th man on this team, maybe 9th at times. So I'll give him a B. I was gonna give him maybe a B minus to start, but I'm a little nice grader today, so B. Next person on the list. Again, I do not know who's coming next, so we'll be surprised. Caleb Foster. This should be very, very interesting.
It's Zion's time to go first.
Yeah, exactly. I love it.
Oh, y'all try to. Oh,
hey, you put together the order.
That's kind of sick. Caleb Foster, my dear guy, man.
If you don't want to do it, I'll go first.
No, I'll go first. I'm probably gonna give Caleb a C. Just on the fact that I think with the expectations that we came into the year with have been not achieved, not even close to achieved. And, I think more so because he has a lot of room to grow. And I think, C, I'm teetering between C and C plus. I don't want to go C feels a little harsh, but he came into the season. He came into the season as our starting point guard. Like I said on the last episode, this guy was highly heralded. He was going to be one of our leaders, and he just been struggling to kind of find himself. And I think a lot of it too has been, mental with him. I don't think it's talent. I do not think it's talent. I think he's capable of being a great guard in the league, in the ACC, but we just haven't seen it. And, at points, we just haven't needed him to win games, and I think that's a little bit of a disappointment just in the fact with what we expected, and the leap we expected from his freshman year. But I guess I have to take the bullet and be the hard grader for this one. I know.
I don't think you're not gonna be the hard grader for this one.
All right.
You're gonna be a nice grader probably.
You can go, Russ.
Look, it has nothing to do with the kid who's great, and he had it's important to contextualize. He had an injury towards the end of last year that probably affected his offseason as well, right? That offseason between freshman and sophomore year is so crucial for development. So to miss that time in any way, shape, or form, and then to be asked to run the point, which he didn't really do as much last year. I mean, this is just such a big thing, and it would be hard for anybody, regardless of your talent level. He's exceptionally talented, great representation for the university. But like in terms of the production on court, if all I'm grading is his production on court, you've got to go worse than C, I think. Like when you look at it, I mean, like let's just break it down a minute, right? Like people expected, I think a lot of reasonable people expected that he was not actually a 40% 3-point shooter guy.
Yeah.
That last year he did it, but like the free throw percentage wasn't great. The form's a little funky. I think people expected a little bit of regression there. He's shooting 31% from three, 35% in conference play, so it's going up a little bit.
Sample size too, though. You got to factor sample size.
Yeah, but he's shooting multiple a game. I mean, like it's not like he's only shooting one a game. I mean, he's still putting them up. I mean, like he's had how many? I mean, he's shot just about 3 a game. So I mean, I think that's sample size enough to say that like there's struggles here, especially given that last year he shot 69 threes overall. So he was shooting a lower rate last year, right? So the sample size there was even smaller. Maybe it'll come around. His 2-point percentage has improved as a whole, but he still really struggles to finish at the rim. He's great at getting to the rim. He's really struggled to finish this year at the rim. He's the worst free throw shooter on the team outside of Malik, which as a guard is completely unacceptable. I mean, he's making 61% of his free throws. That's not a good number at all. The assist rate has only gone up a little bit, but the turnover rate has gone up also. His assist rate and turnover rate in ACC play are like notably worse each than they were last season. He's got the worst offensive box plus minus on the team. The defense is bad. I mean, he's got better defensive metric numbers than last year, but that has way more to do with the people behind him, because when you watch the games, he lets people by regularly. Like he really struggles to stay in front of faster guards right now. So again, it has nothing to do with the kid who's a great kid. I'm really looking forward to what he will become with time. But in terms of what he is giving the team this year and the on-court production, I mean, I kind of think you have to go D. I mean, like, it's just, it sucks. It's not what I want to say, but like, it's what it is.
Yeah, I honestly think I don't know him, but I honestly think if you asked him, he'd probably agree with his on-court play being around that grade. I was going to go D plus on the was going to be my bailout if you guys went higher than that. But yeah, I can't literally Russ brought up most of the points I was going to bring up. The fact that his 3-point percentage has dropped significantly, which again, you talked about, you weren't going to expect him with that form to shoot 40% again this year. But the free throw percentage being as poor as it has been, that's dropped 7% since last year. And it was already below 70% last year. Like that's just not great.
Guards can't do that. Guards just cannot do that. Completely unacceptable.
Losing your starting job 6-7 games into the season isn't great. And obviously Sion's an older, more experienced person. So the trigger probably was going to be a lot quicker than it would be if it was a freshman behind him or somebody else for that matter. That's disappointing. But yeah, Russ, you kind of nailed all the stats. So I don't need to go over numbers again. But and then the fact that when he did get moved to the bench, his minutes per game dropped significantly. And like it didn't, not obviously that's going to happen if you lose a starting job, but like he lost 8-9 minutes a game, which I wasn't completely expecting. And to see him maybe move to the bench and maybe become more of a productive role, or the sixth man off the bench, and he's not even the sixth man anymore. He might not even be the seventh at this point. So
He's not.
He's probably the eighth. That
Might not be the
Pat,
eighth.
with Malik out, Pat might be. So yeah, it just been disappointing overall. But again, I do think if he's self-aware enough, he probably would agree with these grades. It's unfortunate, but like you said, missing the offseason, most of the offseason due to injury, is a bummer. And that does not, I think the athleticism and the fact that he does get to the rim at ease and with the rate he does, and just hasn't been able to finish, and he was very good at that in high school, leaves me confident and optimistic in him going forward. Whether that's in a Duke jersey or not has yet to be seen. But it's just been disappointing.
Don't put that out there.
Listen, yeah.
Don't put that out there.
Yeah,
I think he's going to be a great player for Duke next year. He needs an off season. He needs to develop, because if we're just being honest, and you go down the line of what you need from a player, is he a net positive as a 3-point shooter right now? Not especially. As a 2-point production at the rim, no. Are his assist to turnover good? Not really.
I don't like this though. I don't like all this, because this team is what 17-2. Like, I'm not gonna give anybody a grade that low, because they're not making us lose games. Caleb Foster is not. We haven't been losing because of Caleb Foster.
But did we lose
because they're not playing him?
Yeah, and he's not playing enough at the end.
No, but I don't think that's. I don't even think, like I said on the podcast the other day. At some point, you got to realize, like, yo, Sion is really good.
It has more to do with Sion but also if you look at the games at the beginning of the season when Caleb was starting, it was not positive production. Like,
it wasn't positive, but it also the offense wasn't also like, let's be real, the offense also didn't put all the playbook in. Like the offense was not good anywhere. We were too reliant on Cooper one-on-one. Like, the offense has moved and progressed since day one.
I hear you, but when you look at those games and the lineups when Sion was in the lineup, when Caleb was the starter, when they brought Sion in, the offense was immediately significantly better.
It was
not because the playbook drastically changes when Sion comes into the game versus when Caleb's in the game.
There were bad offensive games. There were bad offensive games with Sion in too. There
were bad games, but the lineups as a whole were notably better offensively when Sion was in the game.
I don't even think that's a better. It was a better offensive lineup. It was a better defensive lineup that turned into better offense. But like,
sure, we were scoring the ball more and more efficiently when Sion was in versus Caleb. I call that better offense. But you know.
I think from a standpoint of just like evaluating, I can't give a guy, so much slander when the team has been as
slander.
It's just it's fact.
What did I say that was inaccurate?
Not slander. Critique. I'm not going to critique that guy that harshly, because he's not. We're winning. We're winning. We're not losing games because of him. Even last year, when I was harsh last year, it was because that team wasn't good at the time. They weren't winning games. They were not a good team at the time. Let me preface that. Let me fix that. They were not up to Duke standards. This team is up to Duke standards and maybe more. So I'm not gonna be harsh on this guy because he's struggling. But I get it. We got to move on to the next.
Yeah.
Next guy, Sion James.
How fitting.
Yeah. I mean, I'll go first because it's pretty quick. I mean, I'm giving him an A. Everybody knows from listening to the show, he's my man crush. We're just instantly, as I just said, we're instantly better on both sides of the ball when he's in the game. Just imagine this team without Sion James on the roster. Just think about it. It's not good. It's not nearly as good as it goes down significantly. He's shooting the ball better on low volume than I anticipated. He's even making 85% of his free throws in ACC play. 74% on the season, which is easily his best. He's second on the team in assist rate. He's honestly the best perimeter defender we have, which, considering we have Tyrese Proctor, that's really saying something. He doesn't foul. He's averaging under 2 fouls a game in ACC play, so he's doing all this defense without fouling. He's a great leader. My only gripe would be that he has the highest turnover rate on the team, given his stuff. But like also he's being asked to do a lot. He's being asked to run the show, so that kind of makes sense also. So even that I don't really hold against him. It's an easy A for me.
Yeah, I'll make it quick. I'm A as well. Been all we could have asked for and then some. We needed exactly what he's brought. And even his 3-point percentage has improved slightly since his time last year. Shooting at a lower amount per game, but even that is just something that I don't think we were looking for in him, and he's been doing pretty well, especially in conference play. So A for me, no complaints here.
Yeah, A on my end. I think Sion's just been a perfect addition, and he's really sacrificed a lot to play at Duke because, his numbers won't tell you the full story. I think he's an all ACC caliber guard, but he's just playing his role. He just wants to win. You can't really ask more for that. So, A all around. Perfect scores. Yeah. Next up, I think I switched it. Yeah, Isaiah Evans was supposed to be fourth. First, this should be a fun one, though. Isaiah Evans. Ryan, what you got for Isaiah Evans?
Hard for me not to give him an A, I think, just based on where he started the season and where he's at now and how he's shooting the ball and the spark that he's provided. I mean, you could argue maybe B+, defensively, he's maybe not great, so maybe you go B+, A-, but like just from we didn't see him at all in the first 5-6 games really, and then he came on strong and has basically been the 6th, 7th man ever since. You can count Malik as the 6th man, I guess, because he comes in after 3 minutes, but the bona fide scorer off the bench that we kind of need and the spark that we've needed. So sure, defensively he's not there yet, and I don't think he's ever really been known for his defense even in high school, so like you could maybe knock him on that, but I'll give him an A- completely and just do the knock as the defense. Shoots the ball really well, brings the energy, and for a freshman doing this with that attitude, and it's kind of exactly what Duke needs, and I think what like Cooper even feeds off of as well. So to be his counterpart offensively and someone we can go to who we weren't sure was even going to sniff the rotation at the beginning of the season. Yeah, I'll go A- for Isaiah.
I'll go real quick. I mean, I'm going to go B. I think that he and it's because of the defense. I mean, like he was not able to play in the Pitt game and the Notre Dame game because teams are picking on him on defense when they have ISO guys who they can get him switched onto. They're just picking on him. So I think that makes it tough to play him in certain matchups, which, is a problem. It's also, I find it really weird. I did not expect him to be like a guy who would shoot only 12 twos and shoot 73s at this point in the season. I didn't expect him to be one of the better shooters in the conference right out of the gate. I mean, I knew that he had, I feel like when I watched him in high school, he was not this type of dude, right? Like his game was not like catch and shoot specialist. That wasn't anything that I saw from him.
He
really.
Couldn't be though. Like not that he was. He just he had other responsibilities on offense. Yeah,
we've seen dudes in high school. I mean, I feel like Cam Reddish is a really good example of this. And Cam was like a better high school prospect than Isaiah was. That's not telling tales out of school or anything, but guys who have to be in their bag a lot in high school who then are asked to just be catch and shoot guys as freshmen. That's a really hard transition. And so he gets all the credit in the world for having nailed that. I love his attitude out there. I love that he's woofing at people. I love that. He's one of my favorite guys to watch. I just want the defense to continue to come around. He's a freshman. I believe that it will with time. But again, I think it's hard for me to go too much higher than a B, given that the defense still needs to come around in order for him to play more.
I give him a B+. I give him in the middle of both of you guys. I think I won't kill him too much for the defense. I think he's a freshman.
He's a freshman. It's true.
And at the end of the day, for a freshman to grow defensively, you need enough reps and you need enough game reps. And I think for the most part, he didn't get those game reps early, probably because he wasn't doing it in practice. But when he got his rhythm, obviously Auburn, he flashed his ability. I think he's been one of the best Duke bench scorers we've seen in a long time. Just as an option to come in and he's just going to get you buckets. I think defensively he's gotten better. I think last game was maybe one of his best defensive performances. I think we saw. I was just watching him on defense, his activity, his energy, the aggressiveness he brings. I think he'll by the end of the season he's not going to be just a cone on the floor. So I think he's flashed a lot of great things, and I'm excited to have him on the roster.
I also want to just say I don't think he's, even when he's struggled, I don't think he's a cone. Like, he's clearly trying. He's clearly got a lot of effort. I think it has more to do with like where he is on the floor compared to his defender. Sometimes he just jumps out of position a little bit, but I'd rather have a guy like that, who's clearly trying and just still figuring some things out. But by like defensive box plus minus, so far this season he's been the worst defender on the team. I just think that he's got room to grow, but I'm very, very excited for what he'll be sophomore year. He's clearly like an all-conference kind of guy.
Yeah.
With time.
Let's go to the next person. I do not know who it is. I hope. Let me see. Let's see. Yes, it is. There we go. Kon Knueppel. Great job, Z. Great job. Because this is going to be very interesting. Very interesting. Kon Knueppel.
And good thing you get to go first again.
Yeah, Zion's
I guess I always get the hard ones to go first. Kon Knueppel.
I mean, do you want me to start?
Yeah, start. You start.
I'll go B for Kon, and I think that's like a. What are you shaking your head for?
You go. I'll go later. You go.
Go. Hey, we got.
I'm gonna go B because I'm gonna go B because I feel like he's come on stronger in recent games. I feel like we haven't had anytime he's scored 15 or more points, it's always been quiet games. He doesn't get the recognition because it happens to be a lot when Cooper's going off, or Cooper's always overshadowing him, I feel like. I think the unfairness was the hype in the offseason that, sure, maybe had been warranted, and everyone was hoping he'd come out and score 15 to 20 points a night and maybe go off for 25 or 30 every now and then, and that just hasn't happened. Obviously, he struggled in big games to start the season, which is kind of where I go back to maybe hover on that B- section of the grading scale. But I just think he's been good. He's been a solid freshman player who's supposed to come in and be a good shooter. He's obviously had off games. He just literally 4 days ago dropped a donut against BC. So that's kind of fresh in the mind, only shooting five shots. But I think he's just a freshman trying to find his way in this lineup. And his shooting just hasn't been there completely, but he's still getting up on any given night. He's getting 10 to 15 points a game. Russ is just shaking his head over here. He's going to torch.
I mean, you're saying things that I just think are wrong, but
that's fine. That's fine. I'm trying to give a little bit of grace for a freshman who wasn't supposed to be much 6-7 months ago coming into this team, and then got crazy top 10 lottery pick hype in an offseason before even playing in a college game. And now is basically doing what we probably better than what we all would have thought he would if we would have said, if we'd have told you that Kon Knueppel back last March was going to come in this season and score 12 points a game and do what he's done so far, we would have been just fine with it. But then all this other hype came out. And so I'm giving him a grace. And I feel like if this were his sophomore season, it'd be a different story, but this is his freshman season, and he had some crazy hype in the offseason before even stepping foot on the floor. So I'll go B- as my final grade. How about that?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's wild to say the shooting hasn't been there when he's shooting 38% from three on very high volume, 41.
It wasn't there in non-conference, and especially in the big games.
41% from three in ACC play. The only knock I have against him is that he has shot poorly in those couple of big games early on. That's literally the only knock I have, though. I mean,
turnovers too. There's turnovers there as well, and not great defense. Like,
I mean,
so you thought my grade was high or was low?
Yeah, I thought your grade was low. I mean,
I thought you were going the opposite.
He's averaging one turnover a game. I mean, like, I know he had a couple of bad games in key spots, like, but also he was a freshman at the very beginning of his freshman season. Like, I don't really have that much.
Wait, Zion, did you think Russ was going to go lower than me, or did you think he was going to go higher?
I knew he was going to go higher. I thought B- kind of low, bro.
I thought you were going. I thought you were going the
he
opposite
shot.
direction.
I mean, in the tier A games, he shot 23% from three. Right, that's not acceptable. But also, most of those games were at the very beginning of the season when, as Zion pointed out, the offense was struggling in general. Right. The goose egg against BC was a little weird considering he'd really come on in ACC play. I mean, he's scoring until that game. He was scoring 16 points a game in ACC play. I mean, for a freshman guard, scoring 16% on very high efficiency, I think is insane. He has the seventh, even with the BC game, he has the seventh highest offensive rating in the entire ACC. He's 110th in the entire country on the entire season, including all those bad games. He's 110th in offensive rating in the country, the second highest of any freshman with his usage rate or higher. He's better inside at scoring than I anticipated. He's scoring 61% from two in ACC play. He's got the strength to finish inside, even post up some smaller guards. And honestly, while he's been like sparingly picked on defensively in some of those bigger games, he's a better defender than I anticipated. Like I did not think he would be this good defensively. He is absolutely a guy who can hold his own out there, and he's a big reason why the starting five now with Sion in the lineup is so stout defensively. Like there are no gaps because even though he's the worst defender of the starting five, he's still a good defender, right? As a freshman, again, I think that's insane. I'm going to give him an A- because of the big games. Like the big games are the only knock I have against him. And again, I don't know how much I want to hold it against exclusively him, given that some of the offense in those games was more of a team issue than a Kon issue, in my opinion.
Yeah, I won't go as high as A-. I think B- is low too, though. So I'll go B+.
Maybe I should have stuck with my B.
I'll go B+ because kind of the things both of y'all mentioned. The big game shooting has been very apparent, and I don't think it's been a product of the offense because if you look back at those shots were butt naked, wide open. So I'm not gonna, fully excuse him for those moments, but I think he is a better shooter than he's shown in those games. Obviously, that's why his numbers are still very good to this point. But I think there was still he's probably still going to need to show it in a big game at Clemson. Maybe even next on Saturday against Wake. But definitely in those rivalry games, we're gonna need Kon. We're gonna need to see, okay, if those games were just a phase, let's see it because for how good they've been in ACC play, these teams haven't been good that they've been playing. So when the lights are brightest, that's where I want to see if he's really elevated his game. But I mean, the numbers are good. I think he's been underrated as a playmaker and setting up others. So I'll go B+. Give him a little bit more room to grow to that A.
I think even in some of those games where he didn't shoot especially well, he was getting like 6 assists, 8 assists. I mean, he finds a way to contribute positively on the offensive end, even when his shot's not falling.
For sure. Let's jump to the next guy. Who is it? Tyrese Proctor. Here we go. I guess I can start with this one. Tyrese. I'll give Tyrese. I'll give him an A-. I'll give Tyrese an A- because I feel like coming into the season, I think we all had different expectations of Tyrese because we thought his role was going to be completely different. We did not know he was going to be playing off the ball 90% of the time. We all had him charted as the starting point guard, and he had to kind of adjust his game, his mindset, and I think he's done a great job of it. I think he's been consistent. His progress as a shooter this year, I remember Grayson said in the offseason that Tyrese is a great shooter. He's very good off, catch and shoot. And we were kind of like, yeah, we believe it, but we got to see the numbers. We were coming off the 0-8 against NC State in the Elite Eight. So I think he stepped up. He's been a steady veteran presence that we need. I think made the early connection with Wendell Moore. I think he has had that type of growth and a similar impact. Maybe not the perfect comparison, but and the fact that he's grown from year 1 to year 3, even though the numbers aren't a major jump, I think Tyrese has been really good for us. So, and obviously defensively, he's been great.
Yeah, I mean, I'll jump in real quick. Obviously, I love Tyrese Proctor, so my expectations were obviously really high. I'm gonna give him a B plus. Shooting 41% from three, and obviously he's shot the ball really well in our biggest game, shooting 46% from three in our biggest 9 games. So again, that matters. He has a few more games than I would like where he doesn't seem to make as much impact offensively. Maybe they're just not looking for him. That's probably part and parcel of not being on ball as much. But I've just loved to see as the leader, him continue to have that sort of consistency of efficiency offensively in these games. Again, I don't really want to blame him for the assist rate going way down because he just doesn't have the ball as much. His percentage shooting inside is still a bit of a struggle in those big games. Obviously, this was something people talked about last year, like his ability to finish at the rim. I don't know that that's
It's been
really
improved, though. It's definitely been improved. We saw the dunks.
for sure. He's had a couple of dunks, but I do think he's also had some games, especially against the bigger opponents, where he struggled to finish inside in some of those spots. So I'd love to see him develop like a floater game, right? Continue to proceed as a prospect. But still, the shooting has been terrific. The defense is terrific. The leadership is terrific. I can't ask too much more than that. I just love to see the game. At being an upperclassman, your grading scale is going to be like given a little bit harsher, but still, I'm giving him a strong B plus.
Yeah, I'll make it quick. A- for me, just because I feel like there's some, like you said, the exact thing I was going to say is that there seems like there's been some games where he hasn't been as impactful on the overall offense as you might like him to be, but he's improved in basically every statistical category since last year and even his freshman year as well, obviously. So he's come in, done what he's supposed to do, and been a leader, just been solid, steady defender as well as shooting the ball. So I'm not going to have much more than that. I'll go A-.
A-. So we got two more guys. First, come
Yeah, we
on,
know who the next guy is. Yeah.
Khaman Maluach. Who's starting off? Russ, man.
Okay, yeah. This might be like a little generous, but the more I think about it, the more I'm really impressed with what he's done, especially given that like I came into the season sort of expecting him to do a 50-50 time split with Malik. Obviously he's had to pick up a lot more of the slack recently, but like he's done so very, very well. He is second in the country in offensive rating. Now, most of that is just because he dunks the ball, right? But like he's had some layups in there and a couple of short jumpers. He's 84% from two, 89% from two in ACC play. That is completely insane. I don't care if you're only dunking the ball. That's an insane number. And also he's shooting 77% from the free throw line, which is crazy for a freshman big man like him. He leads the ACC in offensive rebounding rate. He's top 30 in the country in offensive rebounding rate. Like, that's massive for an offense that sometimes hits a skid in half-court settings. Really my only gripe is kind of the same gripe as Kon. In some of those big games, his rebounding rate has gone significantly down. I know people are going to point out that he struggles at times in ball screens and switch actions, but I don't really want to blame him in the same way that I'm not blaming Tyrese for his assist rate going down. Like, Maluach screams drop coverage big man to me, and he's being asked to switch everything on the outside. So I do not blame him at all for those things, honestly, especially as a freshman. I'd also love to see him like pop an open three a game. I think he's got that in his bag. It's clearly just not the role he's being asked to play, right? So I mean, all in all, he's farther along than I would have expected. I'm gonna go A-.
Yeah, I'll make it quick with this one as well. I'm going to go A. He's surpassed my expectations from a scoring standpoint. He's been asked to do a lot more now, especially with Malik Brown being out. So for me, it's an A. His free throw percentage is better than what I would have expected it to be at shooting at 77%. So yeah, I'm going to make mine short and sweet. He's been everything I would have expected and then some. So for me, it's an A. And if he continues this way, Duke will continue to be a serious threat going forward. So, yeah, keep it short. Go to you, Z.
I'll go A-, but I'm teetering between B+ and A- because I think my one gripe with him is he has a lot of growing to do guarding the post one-on-one. I think defensively, he's still a presence. He's still a force down low. Just with his size, it's hard for people to attack with confidence. But when he is in those one-on-one situations, he's young. He needs more reps. But that's he's an 18-year-old kid, and I think beyond that, he's done his role and executed exactly how we wanted to. So. No really gripes other than that. But the last one, listen, if we don't all have the same grade for this one, someone's getting killed on Twitter. Cooper Flagg.
We might not have the same grade since you don't give pluses.
No plus.
Yeah, so we're not going to have the same grade. I'll lead off because it's super easy. You're the National Player of the Year as a freshman. You're having a historic level season. You're the leader on both ends of the ball. You have the best assist rate on the team. You're the best defensive rebounder on the team. You are carrying an immense load, but doing so very, very efficiently. I don't know how I can't give him an A+. I mean, like, if you're going to be – when it comes down to it, when you look at, like, KenPom Player of the Year, like, ratings for the last, like, 25 years, he's, like, the second best ever, like, in that respect. I mean, he is so above and beyond. It's genuinely a historic season. Outside of, like, Zion, there hasn't been a Duke one and done who has been doing what he's doing in terms of efficiency and usage rate combined. So, yeah, A+ for me. That's a no-brainer.
Yeah. Ryan, go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I mean, what else is there to say? A+ for sure. He's one of the best Duke players of all time at this point, and it's only going to get better. It seems like since the season's got on, since conference play, we've gotten rid of all those bye games that he kind of, not saying he wasn't trying, but just kind of was like, since we've gotten to conference play, it's just been balls to the wall, and he's been fantastic in every sense of the word. So super excited to see him continue this, see what else or what other records he's going to break. And yeah, man, just super happy he's a Duke Blue Devil and that we get to experience this. So this team isn't where they are without him, obviously on so many levels. So yeah, A+++++ for me.
I think he can be one of the best Duke players ever. That will depend how the rest of the season goes.
Exactly.
Exactly. For now, he is on pace to have a historic season, and as long as he can continue on that pace, then he will. No, I'm just saying. I don't want people.
I'm talking about Ryan.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's why I wanted to couch him a little bit. Yeah.
Let a man be excited.
But he's on pace. He's on pace.
No, yeah. He's definitely on pace. Cooper Flagg has broke the Zion teaching scale. He will get an A+ from me. He will. Listen, he dropped 42 points in a game. We haven't seen that since 2006. Come on, bro. It's nothing. He's different. He's different.
In a game when we really needed all those points too.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
But yeah. Oh, I guess quick run through Jon Scheyer grades.
I'll go B+.
Yeah, I feel inclined to say, like, if you're top 5 in both offensive efficiency and defensive efficiency, and
yeah, hard to not go A.
And one of the most efficient teams the last 25 years. If you want to, I think there are nitpicks. I think there are still nitpicks. There always will be. So if you wanted to go A-,
yeah, I'll go A-. I'll go A-.
But the team is just so good right now.
Give the friend of the show something to strive for. How about that? A-.
A-. You only get that A if you come back on the show.
Yeah, exactly.
we appreciate y'all for tuning in. Our mid-season grades, our yearly mid-season grades have been done. We'll be back on Saturday with the next post game after Wake, and we have a fun season ahead. So we appreciate y'all for tuning in, and catch us next time. Peace.
See ya.